Joining me now from Israel is documentary filmmaker and commentator Ami Horowitz. Ami, Israel and Hezbollah have now entered into a permanent ceasefire. This is an agreement that was mediated by President Joe Biden. But as the Washington Post reported 2 weeks ago, the ceasefire deal is a result of Donald Trump's election victory. The Washington Post reports that during a visit to Mar-a-Lago, one of Benjamin Netanyahu's senior aides told Donald Trump that Israel's rushing a ceasefire deal in Lebanon as a gift to Trump before travelling to the White House to hold talks with President Biden. What else can you tell me about this ceasefire deal? Is there confidence in Israel that it will hold?
Yeah, there are a lot of people in Israel who are happy this is going to happen. Look, it's always unknown whether or not ceasefires hold or whether they don't. Only time will tell. We're talking about Israel dealing with an implacable enemy who has made it their life's work to destroy the state of Israel. So you're always dealing with a group of people who you can deal with in the short term, but I think solves nothing in the long term when it comes to a ceasefire like this. But for the most part, look, I'm in Israel. This is a new event that happened just toward the end of the night, but people are skeptical, but I think overall are happy about it. Look, this is so interesting. Let's go back to January 1981. And a few hours, actually a few minutes after Ronald Reagan was inaugurated as president, the Iranians let go of all the American hostages because they were frightened about what he would do to them, right? Coming off a Democratic president who they didn't fear at all, right? Does this make sense at all? Does this remind you of anything today? Look, this is not Trump's first foreign policy win before he's become president. Just early this month, Qatar kicked Hamas out of their country. They didn't do it because they feared Biden. They did it because they feared Trump. We're already seeing Trump's success in the foreign policy sphere. Look, I'm actually now becoming more optimistic about what he can do, let's say, with Ukraine and Russia. I think both sides fear Trump. Both sides realize that they need to make a deal because they're not sure what Trump is going to do. And I think that's a good thing. This lack of clarity on how Trump is going to react has actually served him really well. Look, not to go over all his greatest hits, but I'll remind you of when everybody was attacking Donald Trump for his view on NATO, when he had this quote unquote bluster about defunding NATO. You know what the net result of that was? The net result of that was that 6 out of the 31 NATO countries who before Donald Trump did not hit their 2% threshold target on spending, now 23 out of 31 are in fact hitting that number because they were scared about how Trump might react. All of these things are interconnected, Rita. All of these things are an outgrowth of a Trump presidency that's on the horizon.
Absolutely. It's peace through strength. That's been the philosophy. That is, it might seem erratic and unconventional, but it works. It's worked in the past, and let's hope it works again. And it seems to be working already. Now, talking about Donald Trump's transition team, he's picked Dr. Jay Bhattacharya to lead the NIH. He is the nomination now for Director of the National Institute of Health. This is, Ami, I've got to say, a brilliant pick. He is professor at Stanford School of Medicine, and throughout the COVID era, he showed enormous good judgment. He showed enormous courage to challenge some of the boneheaded, anti-scientific and harmful COVID measures we saw, from school closures to mass lockdowns. He was attacked for it, he was defamed for it, but he stood up to that bullying to speak truth to power, and to see him elevated and recognised like this, I think is enormously important. And he will do a great job in the role.
I mean, Rita, you took the words right out of my mouth. There's nothing I really need to add to that. It was a great pick. It was another winning pick for Donald Trump. And certainly it's a pick that the left fears. I don't know exactly why, but they seem to think that anybody who had a counter-prevailing view of COVID was some kind of weird anti-scientific whack job, when in reality, history has proven them right? His entire process of saying, look, let's tranche out the people who have COVID by age, by their ability to get particularly sick by COVID. Let's create an immunity, a natural immunity, which is far more durable than these shots, the jabs, as they called it, that they were given, has all proven to be correct. Yet the left is up in arms about this pick. It goes to show how they are not living a reality. Again, going back to why did Trump win this election? For these kind of reasons, because the left is so out of touch with mainstream America, how they view the world, and by the way, how they viewed COVID, looking now back in the past. And by the way, he's also spoken very publicly about the NIH prior to this pick, talking about the need for efficiency in this organization. And by the way, this is a hallmark of all of Trump's picks, the idea that there needs to be government efficiency, government accountability. This is another pick that will do exactly that. I'm thrilled.
Government efficiency, and also doing something about that overreach, because we've seen institutions be guilty of that in recent years. You've been out and about talking to lefties. You love doing that. And I've got to say, they've got some strange ideas about borders. They seem to think borders are racist.
Borders are racist.
Yes.
Why do you think that is?
I don't really. There's no need to really expand on that. Just kind of.
It's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Do you think that having a border is an expression of racism? It's a tool of racism.
Yeah, it's control. So they automatically racist. They think that we're better than them because why? Because we're on this side and they're on that side?
Well, those folk are going to be very triggered when they hear from this next grab. This is Trump's border czar pick, Tom Homan, who's warned sanctuary cities against blocking immigration authorities from carrying out these mass deportations that Trump has promised. He's said there will be harsh consequences if they obstruct these plans. And his simple message is, don't test us. Here he is alongside Texas Governor Greg Abbott.
So if we don't want to help, that's fine. He can get the hell out of the way. But we're going to go do the job. President Trump has a mandate for American people. We got to secure this country. We got to save American lives.
Oh dear. Ami, do you think these sanctuary cities will follow through on their vow to stop the deportations and to go to any measure necessary to stop these deportations?
By the way, again, another great pick by Donald Trump, President-elect Donald Trump. Absolutely love that guy. He is going to get the job done. This is so incredible to me, Rita, right? We literally just had an election primarily on this issue itself, right? It was the economy, number one, and immigration, a close second. It is unbelievable to me that these blue cities and blue states have not learned the lesson on this issue. They are doubling down when they literally just lost an election because of it. This bodes very poorly for the Democratic Party. Again, the crazy people you saw just earlier when I interviewed them about racism, yes, they're the hard left. But let me tell you something. It is their views that have been driving the views of the general Democratic Party on immigration. And this is why we have the situation we find ourselves in today. Look, not only did they lose the election in the general public, let's not forget that in the blue cities and the blue states, these elected officials are going against what their own people want. All of these cities, yes, they ultimately voted for Joe Biden, obviously California, Illinois, Massachusetts, but they all trended toward Trump. Trump got a larger percentage of their share than he did in the last election. Why? Primarily in those cities because of immigration. They saw
Absolutely.
what is happening to their cities and their states.
Yeah, 100% right. Huge shifts in those blue states. Ami Horowitz, thanks for your time.